The official Big Brother 19 cast has been released and interviewed by Jeff on CBS All Access, and there are no returning players, which a lot of people love. So I'm just going to get started with this. Jeff kept pushing on each interview question if they want to be in a showmance, and he kind of seemed like he was pushing for it, like CBS wants to see showmances, when in reality, nobody likes that, so I'm not really sure why it seemed like he was pushing for that. He also wanted every single person to act out their high school mascot, and that was probably the least interesting thing he could have done, because everyone's mascot was either an eagle or a lion, or like a cub, and that was not fun to watch at all. Jeff also asked each of them to think of a hashtag. The way that he asked this was by saying that, this is going to be the last time you get to interact with the outside world, which one contestant replied to that by saying that's not true. There are cameras all over the house. And that was the last time Jeff asked that question, so a bunch of these don't actually have hashtags, so I made them up. So the first one we're going to dive into is Kevin. He has 7 kids. He seems really calm, and he also said that he'd rather be loved than hated, which kind of pissed me off. A bunch of them said that they'd rather be loved than hated. I haven't seen this many people say that since season 16, so maybe that tells you what type of cast this is going to be. He says that he wants to tell a lot of his stories to the house guests. I'm not really sure what that means. I guess he wants to show off how old he is, which would really piss me off, personally. He has a really cool accent. I think he said he's from Boston, and he does seem nice. I think personality-wise, he's going to fit in, but I think he's going to try to play it off as him being the dad of the house, which really tends to rub people the wrong way in past seasons. That said, I don't think that he's going to have a huge target on his back, and my prediction is he's going to at least make it to the top 12, but I don't think he's going to make it to jury. Next up, we have Cameron. The funny thing about Cameron is that he is 100% a nerd, but it actually looks like he doesn't lack any social skills whatsoever, and he seems way more athletic than a Steve or an Ian. And like I said, he's definitely a nerd, because he gets very, very excited and hyperventilates whenever he talks about strategy games that he's really into, so the kid's definitely a nerd, but he is pretty interesting. And he also said that he'd rather be loved, which makes no sense to me, because he's clearly a Big Brother fanatic. I mean, he's going into this with a chip on his shoulder of wanting to be loved by America. Also, he said he doesn't like messy people and loud chewers, which is going to get pretty interesting when I talk about the rest of the cast. And his hashtag is nerdherd because his last name has herd in it, whatever. I mean, it's kind of cool. My prediction is that he will definitely make it to jury, and he's so smart. He's not going to talk himself into his own demise, and he could actually possibly win. I really want to see how this guy plays in competitions. I want to see if he is the type of player to try to not win comps at first, to not show how smart he is. But we'll see how that goes. I think he's definitely going to make it into jury, though. This guy's very well spoken. Next up, we have Josh. And Josh is actually one that I'm almost most excited about. He reminds me of a blend between Davon and Paul from last year, and a little something that we've actually never really seen before, which is this, he's gonna pop off at anything that really pisses him off, but he's actually, if you listen to this guy speak, he's kind of well-spoken. He knows what he's talking about, and that's what makes this really exciting for me. I cannot wait until this guy pops off at someone. He is someone I'm classifying as the male Davon, but he actually looks like he's someone that can win competitions. And this guy would rather be hated than loved. He's one of the few people that said that, so I'm excited to watch this guy. He said that he wants to bring home money for his small business and his family. So, he is fighting for this thing, but it didn't really seem like he had much of a sob story that would prevent him from going off on someone. My prediction for him is that he's going to be possibly pre-jury. He might fall into the same Davon category of being the second one out or the first one out because he pops off at someone, but he seems physical enough and well-spoken enough to stick around until maybe 11th or 8th place. but I don't really see him winning or making it to Final 5, although I hope that does happen. Next up, we have Raven, who everyone is calling Meg 2.0 for some reason. I think it's just because she's like a gobby type of girl with a lot of energy, and is literally, now that I look at it, wearing the exact same thing Meg wore for her interview, so I get it. She's wearing the same thing. She doesn't want to be too loud and wants to lay low, but let me tell you, that is not going to happen. I've watched this show long enough to know that this girl's not capable of that, and she said she also wants to pull strings quietly, and in parentheses, I wrote, she won't, because let me tell you, she won't. I think she said she hasn't seen the game before. I'm not too positive. I feel like she's one of the few that hasn't seen the game before, or at least definitely is not a super fan. She wants to win, but also be loved, which is a cop-out answer. She wants to be loved. She also doesn't like messy people, which I mentioned before, another player that doesn't like messy people or loud chewers. And her hashtag is Pacer Power because she has a pacer. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. My prediction for her is that it's pretty hard to tell. It's probably contingent on if she finds a friend in the house or not, because she's the type of person that's going to talk someone's ear off. And if she doesn't have a friend that she can just do that to 24/7, she's going to end up saying the wrong thing to the wrong person and getting kicked the heck out. Meg was kind of harmless because she knew the game a little bit more. Raven kind of seems like someone that's going to start a fight with someone on accident. Next up, we have Matthew, who also said he will not get along with messy people. He's a sports fan, he's pretty athletic, and his fear is that he thinks he might be too nice in the house, which is, I don't know how he got cast if that is his fear. And he thinks he looks like Brett Favre, so his hashtag is Matt Favre. And he would rather be loved and lose, which, another one. My prediction for him is that he's definitely going to make the jury. He's not going to stir the pot. He's not really going to get in too much trouble. He's going to be boring unless someone pops off at him. And I think that him and Josh might get into a pretty silly fight early on because Matt is probably going to act like the father figure, the cool dad of the house, and will not be okay with Josh's persona, in my opinion. That's what I'm predicting. I don't know, though. They'll probably be best friends. Next up, we have everyone's prediction to win the game, which is Dominique. Her hashtag is Dominique the Dominator. She didn't take her 2 seconds to think of that one. I think she had that one stored in her brain. She knows people's psychology really well, and she's extremely smart. She's like a nuclear engineer. She said that she wears her emotions on her face, though, which tells me that, and she said that that's going to be her biggest weakness in the game, which I don't know. I don't get that vibe from her. I get the vibe that she's really calm and understanding and almost like the mother figure of the house. She has a poetry YouTube channel and is a self-proclaimed social media mogul, which let's hope she's never seen Frankie Grande before because she does not want that title. She said that she wants to be as innocent as a dove and shrewd as a snake, and I'm claiming this hashtag now, hashtag Snake Queen. That's my thing, and my prediction for her is that she could be Final 5 for sure, and I definitely think that she could win this whole thing. So that's it for now. This is part 1. I'm going to post part 2 tomorrow, hopefully. I just wanted to get this out there without it going over, like 15-20 minutes. Part 2 is going to come shortly. I hope you like this video. Definitely subscribe because I'm going to keep making these videos. I'm probably going to try to do 2 videos every week on Big Brother 19. So definitely subscribe if you're into that stuff, and thanks for watching.